I found him thinking out loud amongst the herbs and the birds and the surge of the ocean. Standing in the surf, I was certain of this notion. Emotional, I fell to my knees in the sand and the water. With devotional hands and head bowed down, I thought of the course of my life to this point. Anointed by a high tide baptizing me, eyes wide, surprised to see a red horizon, the ball of fire sun descending. It was then that I befriended him. He told me that he'd grown old, patiently waiting to hold this conversation, and he thanked me for engaging him. The sun reflecting copper coins on the choppy surface of the ocean as he said, "Let's take a swim." My mind was racing, trying to place him, cause something in his face seemed familiar, with speech somewhat similar to poetic prose. He talked as we walked into the waves as they rose, and the way that he chose to use the words that he spoke showed intelligence. Evoked in me a reverence. I hang on every sentence as we float, mentally making notes on philosophy as he quotes Socrates in reference to the properties of water, to where inhabited planets are scattered and why dark matter makes up a quarter of the universe. Said he sought to find the first fractal. Foamy surf bursting on the shore seemed to crackle, and I thirsted for more actual facts. He linked verses and chapters from the Bible to mathematics. Think of the source as a quantum mechanic, he said, because everything's connected through a collective consciousness, and that the practice of reflective self-analysis can act just like a catalyst, catapulting you towards enlightenment. So don't be frightened by the still and silent clearness of a heightened awareness. He spoke fearlessly of wars he had endured, both with pen and by the sword, how he'd suffered and recovered and discovered at the core of this existence is an energy, felt in our body's chemistry. We feel it in our waters it contains what the source taught us. A blueprint for suiting life upon this plane, like how to choreograph a routine for the dance that brings the rain. He said, if you can see the beauty in the eyes of hurricanes, then people looking at you will see a fury much the same, and we remained in the waves through to twilight. He went on to explain the behaviors of wildlife, the untamed arcane workings in the secret mind of nature, the reasons why the seasons don't apply at the equator. Often we are violators of her balance, her order, as though we have greater purposes or talents, and the water's surface reflected the claret red and violet of the tie-dyed night sky as a high tide escorted us back to the shore. He assured me, in order to foresee the doors of opportunity, then you mustn't ignore me. He swore I wore my heart on my sleeve, and that I take things personally. Maybe you love too easy, he said. In an agreement, I nodded, as we plodded slowly onward towards dry sand. And by now I begin to understand the significance of this man, indicative, and I am all but dazed by his knowledge. He stated slavery is not abolished, it's evolved into a bondage of mind, brainwashing, hypnosis of a kind. Have you noticed how we haven't had time to talk till now? He furrowed his brow, and for an awkward moment I doubted his presence. It seemed we'd walked in tandem, leaving one set of footprints in the sand, and I know this meeting isn't random, it's a planned encounter, and I stand astounded. Then I'm grounded. See, I no longer found it difficult to recognize this individual, first person singular, present the be, am, I am I, am. It's in the AM, time's approaching 12:30 and the beach is deserted. We've been standing here for hours, he said, our feet are hurting us. The clouds disperse and I search for the curved horizon line of the black satin sky as back to back I sat in silence.